Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive
Hmm.
where we're going to be cracking the code of persuasive writing.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, the kind that sneaks into all those marketing campaigns, like
Brr.
all the ads you see, the newsletters you get,
Mm.
and just subtly shapes your decisions.
It's incredible how much goes into that stuff.
It really is.
Like how much psychology goes into just crafting these little messages. It's like
Yeah.
they have this whole secret language designed to influence us.
Totally. And we have a great guide for this deep dive.
Oh, cool.
It's a really insightful piece from the French marketing blog, Wow Comme Sebo.
Wow, come SIBO.
Wow Comme Sebo.
Gotcha.
And they break down all these persuasive writing tactics
Yeah,
in a really practical way.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, they get into,
I was looking at that blog too, and I
Yeah.
was really interested in how they were saying that even just small tweaks
yeah.
in the wording can have a major impact on how a message is received.
Oh, absolutely. Like their example of using active voice. They suggest saying our watch keeps you dry, even in rainy weather,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to, our watch is designed to stay dry.
Right.
The difference is subtle, but powerful, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's totally about positioning the brand as an active problem solver.
Right.
For you, the customer.
Yeah.
And the active voice almost makes it feel like the watch itself is
Yeah.
taking charge, ensuring your comfort and dryness.
Right.
So it's a clever way to kind of build a stronger connection with the reader and boost their perception of the brand.
So it's not just about conveying information. It's about creating an experience for the reader.
Exactly. And that experience is key to persuasion. They're kind of subtly suggesting that, hey, this watch is not just a timepiece. It's like a reliable companion for all your everyday adventures, rain or shine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like subliminal messaging, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What I found really interesting was their suggestion to flip the script on negatives. Instead of saying what something isn't,
Mm-hmm.
focus on its positive attribute.
Oh, that's a classic technique.
Yeah.
And it's really rooted in how our brains actually process information.
Okay.
Remember that example they gave?
Yeah.
Our software is intuitive and easy to use
Right.
versus our software isn't complicated.
Yeah.
See, the first statement, it just plants these positive images
Yeah.
directly in your mind.
Right.
Whereas the second one, you're still kind of forced to think about the
Right.
concept of complicated, even if it's to negate it.
Exactly.
I wonder, could this approach backfire with a more cynical audience?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's possible,
Yeah.
that a highly skeptical consumer
Right.
might see through that and be like, oh, this is
Too simple.
overly simplistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think knowing your target audience is key there,
Makes sense.
which actually leads us perfectly into their next point.
The importance of vocabulary.
Right. They really stressed how rich vocabulary can make a message more credible.
Yeah, it's true. Well-chosen words can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Think about it from your own perspective.
Uh-huh.
How do you react to messages that are just full of jargon and buzzwords compared to ones that use clear, relatable language?
Yeah. I definitely feel more engaged when the language is both interesting and accessible.
Exactly.
I remember their comparison. They said,
Yeah.
our software boosts your sales consistently versus our software allows your business to develop its sales day after day.
And which one felt more persuasive to you?
Honestly, the first one, boosts, is such a strong verb and consistently, suggests reliability.
Right.
But I can see how the second one might appeal to someone who's looking for
Yeah. A
more detailed
Personal explanation.
For sure.
Yeah.
The ideal vocabulary always depends on who you're talking to. Are you speaking to experts who appreciate those technical terms?
Right.
Or are you speaking to everyday consumers
Yeah.
who value clarity and simplicity?
So even vocabulary choice can be this persuasive tool
It is.
as long as it's used strategically
Absolutely.
and with the audience in mind.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to something. Wow, ComSIBO emphasized quite a bit.
Okay.
Social proof.
Social proof.
They really believe in harnessing testimonials and statistics to build trust.
It's a powerful technique.
Mm.
And you know why?
Why?
Because it plays on our natural tendency to look to others for guidance,
Right.
especially when we're making decisions.
We're social creatures.
We are social creatures, exactly.
Yeah.
So think about a time that you were swayed by online reviews.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Especially for a product you haven't tried before.
Especially when it's a product I haven't tried before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like seeing that other people have had a positive experience
Right.
makes me feel more confident
Exactly.
about making that purchase.
It's like you're outsourcing your decision making. To the hive mind.
To the hive mind, yes.
And that's exactly what marketers are hoping for.
Yeah.
They're tapping into our desire to belong, to make the right choice,
Right.
and to avoid potential risks.
Yeah.
It's basically a form of risk mitigation that's been proven to influence consumer behavior.
Interesting. So it's almost like we're hardwired to be swayed by social proof.
Yeah, in a way.
It's fascinating.
It is.
Okay. So far, we've seen how persuasive writing uses active voice, positive framing,
Right.
and strategic vocabulary choices just to kind of grab our attention.
Capture our attention.
Yeah. And then social proof steps in to build that trust and reduce our perceived risk.
Yeah, like, okay, other people have done this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guinea pig.
Exactly. I can already see how these techniques could be used.
Oh, yeah.
In so many different contexts.
All over the place.
Yeah.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, really?
Wow, ComSibo has even more persuasive tricks up their sleeve. And it gets even more interesting as we go.
Right.
Because we're going to delve deeper into the psychology of consumer desire.
Ooh. I'm intrigued. This deep dive is proving to be incredibly insightful.
I think you'll like where it goes from here.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. It's amazing how these techniques aren't just about, presenting information. They're, subtly tapping into our deeper motivations and desires.
That's what I'm finding so fascinating.
Yeah.
What else did Wow Come Sibo uncover?
Well, they talk about this whole art of, creating a need. Have you ever noticed how some ads make you feel like you're missing something?
Uh-huh.
Even if you didn't even know it existed before?
Hey, all the time.
Yeah.
Like suddenly I need that new gadget or that kitchen appliance
Right.
that I never even thought about before.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Wow.
It's all about highlighting a problem the product solves. So you start to feel this sense of lack.
Okay.
And then they position their product as the perfect solution.
Do they give any specific examples of this technique?
Oh, yeah. They mention skincare ads.
Okay.
Think about those ads that start by showing you all the things that can go wrong with your skin.
Right, like wrinkles and blemishes.
Wrinkles, dryness, blemishes.
Yeah.
They're subtly planting those insecurities in your mind.
And then, bam, the product is presented as the miracle cure
Exactly.
for all your skincare woes.
It's so effective because it plays on our desire to improve ourselves.
Right.
And to solve problems.
Like we can always be better.
We're constantly bombarded with messages about how we can be better, happier, more successful.
Yeah.
And these types of ads just tap right into that.
It's subtle, but incredibly persuasive.
It is.
I can see how this technique could be applied to almost any product or service.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It's all about framing the product as a solution to a problem.
Right.
Whether it's a real problem or one that's been cleverly manufactured by the ad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So creating a need is all about playing on our desire for improvement.
Uh-huh.
What's the next persuasive tactic they highlighted?
Next up is urgency.
Okay.
Think about those limited time offers or flash sales you see everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They're designed to make you feel like you need to act now.
Right.
Or you're going to miss out.
Oh, those countdown timers on online shopping sites can be brutal.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's like they're designed to just trigger an impulse purchase.
Exactly. They're playing on our fear of missing out.
FOMO.
FOMO, that's right.
Yep.
Our natural desire to grab a good deal before it's gone.
Right.
It's a powerful psychological tactic.
Yeah, but doesn't that get old after a while?
Yeah, you're right. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
If everything is always a limited time offer.
It starts to feel less genuine.
Exactly. Overuse of urgency can lead to distrust.
Right.
Savvy consumers can see through those tactics.
Yeah.
If they're used too frequently or inauthentically.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Right.
Where urgency feels real and motivating, but not manipulative.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah. What's the final persuasive technique? Wow, come SIBO. Discussed.
Okay, the last one is perhaps the most powerful of all.
Okay.
The emotional hook.
Okay.
Wow, come SIBO. Points out that so many of our decisions are driven by emotion,
Right.
not logic.
Right.
Think about those ads that make you laugh or cry or
yeah.
feel a sense of nostalgia.
Like those heart-wrenching ASPCA commercials
That we
with Sarah McLachlan's song in the background.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can never watch those without tearing up.
Right.
It's amazing how they use emotion to create such a strong connection with the viewer.
And wow, come SIBO. Even mention those French supermarket ads, the ones from Intermarché that are known for their heartwarming stories. They're not just selling groceries. They're selling a feeling a sense of connection.
So it's not just about listing features and benefits.
Right.
It's about making the audience feel something.
Exactly.
It's almost like they're bypassing our rational mind and speaking directly to our hearts.
You got it. That's why emotional appeal can be such a powerful, persuasive tool.
Yeah.
It creates a deeper connection with the brand and makes us way more likely to remember the message.
Right.
Think about it. Have you ever made a purchase based solely on how a product made you feel?
Honestly, yes.
Right.
Sometimes I'm drawn to a brand.
Yeah.
Because their ads make me feel happy or inspired.
Sure.
Even if I don't necessarily need their product. It's like they've tapped into something deeper.
Right.
Something that resonates with me on an emotional level.
That's the power of the emotional hook.
Wow.
It can be incredibly persuasive when it's used effectively.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the subtle but powerful ways that marketers use language to influence our decisions.
It's everywhere.
It is.
From creating that sense of urgency to appealing to our emotions.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much psychology goes into these messages.
It really is.
And you know what's so fascinating?
What's that?
Is that these techniques aren't just limited to marketing.
Oh, really?
Think about all the content you see on social media, the emails you receive, even the way products are displayed in a store.
Yeah.
Persuasion is all around us.
It's true. It's like this hidden language that influences our decisions without us even realizing it.
That's right. But now that we're aware of these techniques,
we
can start to decode those messages.
Absolutely. And that's what Wow Comsibo emphasized.
Right.
Awareness is key.
Awareness is key.
By understanding these tactics, you become a more conscious consumer and a more empowered communicator.
Exactly. You can spot those countdown timers.
Yeah.
And you can ask yourself, am I really feeling FOMO or is this just clever marketing?
I love that.
Right.
I'm already starting to see those tactics everywhere.
Yeah, you will.
But it's not just about being a more discerning consumer, is it? We can also use this knowledge to become more persuasive ourselves.
Precisely think about how you could incorporate some of these techniques into your own writing or communication. Maybe you're crafting a presentation for work or writing an email to a potential client. Understanding how to use language strategically can make a huge difference in how your message is received.
That's a great point. Knowing how to frame a message positively. Choose the right vocabulary. Or even create a sense of urgency. Can be incredibly valuable.
It is.
In any situation where you're trying to persuade someone.
Exactly. And remember, persuasion isn't inherently a bad thing. It's all about using these tools ethically and effectively to communicate your message and achieve your goals.
So the key takeaway from this deep dive is that understanding the psychology of persuasion can empower us in both our personal and professional lives.
Absolutely.
We can become more conscious consumers and more effective communicators.
And isn't that what we all want?
Yeah, I think so.
At the end of the day.
This has been incredibly insightful.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm already starting to look at ads and marketing messages with a more critical eye.
Good. That's what we want.
Okay, so we've uncovered this whole arsenal of persuasive techniques that are used in marketing. From that subtle nudge of active voice to like the heart-tugging pull of emotional storytelling.
And they're everywhere, right?
It's incredible. It really makes you think twice about all those messages we encounter every single day.
It does. It really does. And what's fascinating is that these techniques aren't even limited to just traditional advertising anymore.
Right. Like, where else do we see them?
Think about the content you see on social media, all the emails you get, even the way products are displayed in stores. It's all about persuasion.
It's like this hidden language that's influencing us constantly.
It really is.
Without us even realizing it. But now that we are aware of these techniques, we can start to decode those messages.
Absolutely. And that's what Wow Comsibo was getting at. That awareness is key.
So important.
By understanding these tactics, you become a more conscious consumer and a more empowered communicator.
I love that.
You can spot those countdown timers and be like, wait, am I really feeling this FOMO or is this just some clever marketing?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm already starting to see those tactics everywhere.
I bet you are.
But it's not just about being like a more discerning consumer, is it?
No, not at all.
We can actually use this knowledge to become more persuasive ourselves.
For sure. Think about how you could incorporate some of these techniques into your own writing or communication. Maybe you're crafting a presentation for work or writing an email to a client.
Right.
You know, understanding how to use language strategically can really make a difference.
Yeah, that's a great point. Knowing how to frame a message positively, choose the right vocabulary, or even create a sense of urgency can be so valuable.
It really can be.
In any situation where you're trying to get your point across.
And remember, persuasion isn't a bad thing.
Right.
It's all about using these tools ethically and effectively.
To communicate your message and achieve your goals.
Exactly.
So like the key takeaway from this whole deep dive is that understanding the psychology of persuasion can really empower us.
It can.
In both our personal and professional lives.
100%.
We become more conscious consumers.
Yep.
More effective communicators.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
It is.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive into the world of persuasive writing.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on how marketing messages are crafted and how they affect our decisions.
That's great to hear.
It really is fascinating.
It is. And remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The more you pay attention to the language around you, you'll start to see these persuasive techniques in action.
Like it's a secret code waiting to be cracked.
Exactly.
So to all of our listeners out there, we encourage you to go forth and be more discerning readers.
Yeah.
And maybe even more persuasive writers yourselves.
Have fun with it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, stay curious.